Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. In today's video, we are doing a reading and energy update for our beautiful collective here on YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you for sharing your light, your love, and your own beautiful, unique, high vibrational frequency here with the channel and with our community that we are virtually co-creating here. So I'm going to go ahead and get started by shuffling the traditional tarot cards. And I have all my 7 chakra stones out here. So if I'm noticing any of the cards or messages connecting with a particular chakra center, I will let you know about that as well. One thing I would like to say that came through very strongly around the 8-8 portal is that we are working with a very high frequency energy at this time, a very powerful frequency. You could compare this to waves on a sea, where you can either ride the waves and experience propulsion, momentum to a much greater degree, or you can at times find yourself feeling like you're being pulled under the waves. So I want to use that as a starting point because what I'm getting is the energy is very strong right now collectively. And you may, as a result of this, be noticing people acting in very strange ways as they are most likely unconsciously reacting to this very intense energy that we are all sensing on some level. And again, this is a culmination of both the building energy leading to the 8-8 portal, which is the annual Lionsgate portal, in combination with a full moon that we have coming up as well. I'm hearing Aquarius energy and also Leo energy may be very strong for someone. This could be in someone's birth chart if you are here listening. But I'm going to go ahead and shuffle because what I'm getting is the Two of Swords as the first card coming out around this conversation about this super high frequency energy. And what I'm picking up from the Two of Swords is I'm hearing dramatic differences in the reactions to this energy. You may be feeling this again internally, where one moment you're feeling super happy, super fulfilled, inspired, excited, almost like you're riding with this pulsating high vibrational energy. And the next moment, you may suddenly feel like you're kind of toppling over and feeling kind of swept under those waves. So grounding is incredibly important at this time, more so than possibly prior in the summer, I would say, at least in the last couple months. I know summer may be a different time of year for you if you are in the southern hemisphere. But what I'm getting very strongly is there's a major choice as to how we handle this energy. And I'm hearing everyone has to make their own choice. And one major word of advice coming through is to not allow others, I'm hearing, to dictate your decisions. Interesting. Maybe there's just a clear message in that for someone. Like there may be a person trying to control you or trying to get you to make a certain choice or a certain decision. But for others of you, this also could be, don't let others dictate your decision as to how you personally utilize this energy, because you may notice people around you reacting to it in very negative ways, getting into a very negative headspace as a result of this energetic intensity. And one complication, being someone who is very empathic, is that we can have this temptation to kind of follow them down into those lower vibrations to seek out some kind of connectedness with them. But remember that you have this ability to be like a tuning fork for others, helping them attune more to a higher version of themselves. And I feel that part of what these energies, especially the events of the Lionsgate portal and the full moon coming up, I feel that these energies are reminding us of our sovereignty, reminding us of our ability to select our own frequency, to select how we are going to react and respond to this intensity, and to stay grounded even if others around us are making different choices, so to speak, or kind of temporarily swept up into some of their own negativity. Because again, we have this ability to call people up to a higher version of themselves. I'm hearing you are called to be a beacon, called to be a lighthouse, not a follower here. And at this time, this might require, I don't want to say harshness, but boundaried behavior that others may at times misinterpret as harshness. With the Queen of Swords, this is about holding your ground, having strong boundaries, being very clear with others and really clear with yourself about what you desire to manifest, what you desire to focus upon, to experience, to hold that frequency for yourself and to not allow other people to pull you, I'm hearing, into their own drama and chaos. Because I am getting that around the Lion's Gate and the full moon, you're going to notice that people around you or people you may encounter are being pulled into or like generating some kind of drama or chaos, and most likely doing so unconsciously, simply because they may not be consciously aware of the intensity of this underlying current of collective energy right now. And so rather than working with it as you have the ability to do as someone who is very conscious of your creative role on this planet and your ability to mold energy, but for those who may not consciously be aware of that ability, they may be unconsciously kind of swept into this drama, chaos, intensity, and negativity. So again, I feel it's very important to have strong boundaries with both your inner self. I'm hearing I'm not going to go there. Maybe internally, there are certain things or dynamics that have been calling you back, and you are making that decision with yourself. No, I am not going to ruminate there. I'm not going to go there because I am sovereign. If you'd like to lock in that energy, you can type "I am sovereign" in the comment section. This will remind you of your own empowerment, which is so important, especially with the kind of intense energy that we are working with at this time. I'm also getting something about you standing on your own or being very independent. So you may be feeling at this time as though you are kind of embodying this lone wolf energy, but you are the beacon. So you actually may be feeling lonely. I'm hearing it's lonely at the top. Maybe that's kind of how you feel. But at the same time, you are a beacon for so many others. You are embodying not the lonely energy of like a reclusive hermit in this case, but the lonely energy of a leader, someone who is lonely because they've been divinely isolated for the purpose of standing out so that they can be the one to lead into new territory, into new things. Being a leader requires a certain level of aloneness, and I feel that that is a truth that you are really coming to integrate at this time. You're deeply beginning to understand that your loneliness was never a negative mark against you, but it was a sacred rite of passage. And also, I'm hearing it was an initiation of some kind. Your loneliness, I feel the divine in your life has isolated you at certain periods of time to separate you for the purpose of you really coming to terms with your own energy, your own path, your purpose, your frequency, apart from the voices, ideas, and opinions of others. And that is part of what has rendered your frequency so powerful. I feel with the 8 of Cups coming up here, there is this powerful element of surrender or letting go coming up, but particularly I feel in relationships, friendships, connections that just haven't quite been clicking with you or haven't quite been meeting you where you need to be met is what I'm hearing here. And I actually feel like there's been a massive wake-up call with the Judgment card sitting on the third eye chakra that has led to this I don't want to call it an abandonment because that word carries such negative connotation. It's a letting go, it's a surrendering. It's saying, I am focused on my divine path, my divine purpose. I've selected the energy I want to embody and experience in my own life, my own connections. And if you aren't willing to meet that or align with that, then I am surrendering this connection, at least for the time being. But it's not that you're pushing anything or anyone away. It's that you are clearly and confidently, courageously embodying the frequency that you want to experience within yourself and through your relationships and connections of all kinds. And you're allowing people to repel or attract themselves to you accordingly, according to whether they can meet you in that frequency. And that's what really solidifies this kind of Empress essence about you. I'm hearing this is essential for your freedom. In essence, with the Empress coming up here, this is with the Empress sitting on the root chakra. You're very grounded and stabilized right now in this energy of the Empress being one, I'm hearing, who is free to choose. Interesting. Maybe you are, I feel so much of this reading has been about how you are coming to this place where you are free to choose your own frequency, your own experience, what you want to manifest in your own life. And I just keep hearing something about not engaging with gossip or drama or chaos. I don't know why that keeps coming up so clearly. I got the name Chloe for someone listening. Also just letter initials CHLO and E could be in someone's name. The name Henry as well. The letter initials LAN coming out here. M also. Yeah, I feel that what keeps you magnetic, and this is such a strange energetic dynamic that's coming through. I will do my best to put it into human terms because, as many of you know, it can be difficult at times to find the human physical words to describe these dynamics that are so quantum. But what I keep picking up on is someone who, it's almost like, this is going to be such a specific message, but for someone listening, I feel that you have come to this level of self-awareness and spiritual awareness and energy awareness. I'm hearing that you have noticed that you have this ability to either see or sense or feel energy in some way. And this feels very literal. This might be, for example, when you're meditating, you notice the energy coursing through your being, and you can feel it in this sort of almost palpable kind of way. This may be when you're moving or stretching or exercising or walking, you can kind of feel how your own energy is flowing, but you also notice that you can feel or sense off energies as well. Like when you're in an environment where, or a conversation or around someone who's holding a lot of tension, you may notice that you are picking up on that energetically. And I'm getting that for some of you, you may even be kind of beginning to perceive or interpret energy in some way. Maybe you yourself are a channel of some kind or a psychic, a medium. Maybe you have the ability to see auras or to somehow perceive energies or whatever this is. Maybe it's through your mind's eye, so not necessarily your physical sight. I'm not sure how this applies for you, but I feel that you've been called lately to lean into your ability to see the unseen, is what my guides are saying, to sense the undefinable, to be able to perceive realms and worlds energetically, layers of reality that most people are unaware of, and to use this ability, I'm hearing silently. So you may feel as though you're not necessarily guided to share this with many people because most people may not really be able to understand these abilities that you have to sense or perceive energy, but you might be quietly using that ability to, I'm hearing, to guide your direction, to guide your life, to guide your movements, your conversations, so that when you're in a conversation and something begins to feel very off, you can use your silence as protection, is what I'm getting. This is very strange, but I keep picking up on something around the throat chakra and you protecting the purity of your own authenticity, your own throat chakra energy. I'm hearing pearls before swine. So maybe for some of you, this is about not putting yourself in a position where you're trying to heavily translate your soul or explain yourself or your goals or who you are or your intentions to people who are clearly dedicated to misunderstanding you. I'm hearing only engage when the conversation feels mutually beneficial in some way, even if that benefit is learning each other's perspective, even if you don't necessarily agree, but there's still that benefit. But when you feel like you're in a conversation where you are fruitlessly trying to explain yourself and it feels kind of like talking to a brick wall, this could actually be kind of draining or depleting your throat chakra energy. Anyway, I feel like that's just a bit of a side message, but I keep picking up on something around like people trying to pull you into like gossip or drama or putting out some kind of negative energy through your speech, through your conversation. And it's almost like these lower dynamics don't really seem to interest you or to engage you anymore, but there's some kind of social expectation or like a social norm. Now, it doesn't have to be gossip. It could be any kind of dynamic where someone's trying to pull you into a conversation that those energy sensors within you are telling you, wait, this conversation just doesn't really feel aligned for me. It feels like it's kind of lowering my vibration. And I keep getting something about how it's like demagnetizing you. And what I mean by that is I feel like, well, of course, the channel is called Magnetize Yourself. Hi, welcome. I would love for you to subscribe if you haven't yet. Join our beautiful community here on YouTube. And when you subscribe, you will be the first to know whenever I release new downloads that could relate directly to your life. Many people note that after subscribing, they feel like they are really co-creating in a more powerful way and the messages get even more personal for them. So I definitely recommend subscribing if this has been resonating for you. But anyway, just wanted to give that little plug there. So as I was saying, I feel like there are just these conversations where you're feeling almost pulled into them or like someone's tempting you into them and there's some element of a social expectation. Now, even if it's not a conversation, I just feel like there are social expectations of some kind that are asking you to compromise on what feels right for you. This could be your authenticity, you living in your truth. I don't know, there's something where it's like you're feeling like there's a social expectation of you to do something, to say something, to go somewhere, but it doesn't really feel right to your intuition. And I feel that this phase of your journey is about not being afraid to stand out, not being afraid to break with the social norm if it means staying true to yourself and protecting that magnetism about you that comes from your dedication to your own authenticity, that is literally pulling in all of your desires. This is the quest of the leader, to be able to hold his or her own in these situations where people who are living more unconsciously are kind of tempting you out of your center of gravity. Because what I'm getting is there's something about you standing out in certain ways, maybe even little ways that you don't really think are that significant, but it's like people are reacting against those things or projecting onto you because of the ways in which you are standing out. Not even because you're trying to stand out, but just because this is your truth and you have this energy of a leader where you tend to have the confidence to live certain truths before other people are ready to even acknowledge those truths within themselves. That's what makes you a leader, but it's also a difficult pathway at times because it can lead to this perpetual sense of loneliness where you are the trendsetter in a way. You are the first one to recognize something, to realize something, to notice a pattern, to speak out about something, to go in a certain direction. And yes, other people follow later on, even masses of people. But being a leader means being the one forging the pathway through the forest. And I just keep getting like, this is your initiation into leadership. Even those moments that feel small, where it doesn't seem that significant, but there's a moment where you can choose what's true for you, or you can choose to submit to some kind of status quo, but compromise your truth in the process. Even those seemingly small moments are significant because they are part of this energetic initiation into a higher level of leadership that's taking place in your life right now. So I'm going to go ahead and close this reading here. This feels like such an interesting and powerful message. I'm so curious if this connected for you. Let me know in the comments if it was for you. And I have actually been posting a lot of deep insights and downloads and messages through my Instagram account lately. So I've been doing text posts, and these have been co-creations from this community as well. Much of what I write from there comes from things that we discuss through these videos. So thank you to each of you for being a co-creator here on YouTube, because this really generates the kind of energy and content and information that also then goes into the Instagram posts as well. So thank you for being part of all of that. And if you would like to follow me on Instagram for more real-time downloads and messages, I do tend to post there throughout the day now. So my Instagram is at Magnetize Yourself. I would love to have you on there. And if you would like a tool to help you to keep in that super magnetic state of being that we've been talking about, I really recommend subliminals. Personally, I've been using subliminals for years to manifest in my own life because I found them to be the number one most effective tool for shifting my energy and attracting desired results and outcomes in my life, really reclaiming that sovereignty, reclaiming that power, and magnetizing myself for my desires. So because I'm so passionate about subliminals, I've created my very own app for them, and it's called Sound and Soulful. So as you can see on the screen, within this app, I have over 130 subliminals for love, relationships, soul connections, manifestation, money, business, appearance, and so many other things as well. And there is so much for you to explore, but recently my most popular subliminal has been by far one I created called Break No Contact. If you're trying to manifest contact from a specific person in your life or from your past, this seems to be very powerful for that. I've received comments from some of you saying that after meditating with this subliminal, the person you desired to contact you reached out the next day. In one case, you listened for 2 weeks and they reached out after having you blocked for 2 years. So I've heard some of the most powerful stories from just this one subliminal. And again, there's so much to explore in the app, and you can even create your own playlists with these subliminals as well and listen in 10 different background sound options. So if you do want to try it out completely free for 7 days, see how it works for you to help you get the energy positively moving in your life, the link to download the app and get started free is in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. Otherwise, I am going to close things out here. Thank you so much again for tuning in. I'm sending you huge amounts of love and light energy. Have a beautiful day, and I will connect with you here again in the next video.